Here, on the vast open plains of Kansas, the sky is an oppressive ceiling of bruised purple and slate gray. This is the heart of Tornado Alley, and on the horizon, a monstrous supercell thunderstorm is organizing its power. It is a living mountain of atmospheric energy, churning silently, visible for 100 miles in every direction. At its base sits a state-of-the-art mobile command vehicle, its roof bristling with antennas and radar domes. It is called the Observatory, and it is on a collision course with the storm. Beside the vehicle stands Dr. Eris Thorne, a 45-year-old meteorologist who is more engineer than thrill-seeker. For 2 decades, she has pursued the planet's most violent weather, not for glory, but for data. Today, however, represents the culmination of her life's work. She is about to deploy the Hive, a swarm of 5 artificially intelligent drones. Unlike any before them, these machines are not designed to observe the storm from a safe distance. They are built with titanium-reinforced skeletons and predictive AI, engineered for a single audacious purpose: to fly directly into the heart of a tornado. The target is a meteorological titan, a storm with the potential to spawn a rare and terrifying EF5 vortex. It is a force of nature capable of wiping a town from the map, but for science, it is a treasure trove of undiscovered knowledge. For Dr. Thorne, it is something more. It is a ghost. Her story, and the story of the Hive, began years earlier, under a similarly ominous sky in Greensburg, Kansas. As a graduate student, she witnessed the raw, untempered power of a maximum-intensity EF5 tornado. The storm didn't just destroy a town, it annihilated it, its 2-mile-wide vortex staying on the ground for over an hour. That night, Eris lost her mentor, a brilliant old-school storm chaser named David, who was consumed by the very phenomenon he had dedicated his project once deemed science fiction. We see the evolution of her work: early, fragile prototypes shattered by hailstones, AI flight models that failed in simulations, years of relentless refinement and redesign. From that crucible of failure and determination, the Hive was born. Each drone in the swarm is a marvel of modern engineering, the pinnacle of a journey that began in the ruins of Greensburg. Now, years later, Eris stands before a storm. That tragic night, Eris forged a new conviction: humanity didn't need to get closer, our technology did. His life to understanding. He believed that to truly know the storm, you had to get close. That conviction became an obsession. It drove her from academia into advanced engineering, leading a project that mirrors the one that set her on this path, ready to confront the ghost of her past with the technology of the future. The instruments in the observatory scream with data. The storm is entering its most dangerous phase. The hunt is over. The operation is about to begin. Inside the observatory, the atmosphere is electric with focused tension. Eris and her small hand-picked team execute their roles with practiced precision. The vehicle is a storm chaser's dream, a mobile laboratory packed with Doppler radar, atmospheric sensors, and the humming server racks that form the brain of the Hive's network. Their mission is no longer about finding the storm. It is about positioning themselves perfectly in its path, a dangerous dance known as intercept. They are aiming for a precise spot just southeast of the storm's core, in the direct path of its predicted trajectory. On the main screen, a weather radar display glows with menacing colors. A massive, comma-shaped formation dominates the image. "We have a confirmed hook echo," Eris announces, her voice calm but heavy with significance. For meteorologists, the hook echo is the unmistakable signature of a tornadic supercell. It is the visual representation of the storm's rotation, the wrapping of rain and hail around a powerful, spinning updraft called a mesocyclone. It is the fingerprint of the beast. The narrator explains the science. As warm, moist air is pulled into the storm, it begins to rotate, creating a powerful vortex. When this rotation tightens and descends towards the ground, it forms a tornado. The team's goal is to predict the exact moment and location of this tornado genesis. Outside, the world has become an alien landscape. Golf ball-sized hailstones begin to hammer the armored vehicle. The wind howls, no longer a simple breeze but a physical force pushing against them. Then they see it. Visible through the reinforced windshield, a lowering in the cloud base begins to rotate. It is a wall cloud, the direct precursor to a tornado. From its center, a thin, rope-like funnel descends, tentatively touching the earth. Upon contact, it explodes into a chaotic cloud of dirt and debris. The monster is born. Its initial roar is a low rumble that vibrates through the very chassis of the observatory. For the team, this is the moment of truth. For Eris, it is the moment she has been preparing for her entire life. "Launch the hive," Eris commands. Her voice cuts through the low rumble of the nascent tornado. On the roof of the observatory, 5 launch panels slide open, and the drones ascend vertically into the maelstrom. They are compact, aerodynamic wedges of titanium and carbon fiber, built to withstand unimaginable forces. They climb in perfect unison, their onboard AI creating a decentralized network, a single mind distributed across 5 bodies. Their flight is not pre-programmed. It is adaptive, with each drone making thousands of micro-corrections per second based on the data from its peers. Their target is the churning wall of debris that marks the tornado's base. The plan is to enter through the inflow jet, a powerful current of air that feeds the storm. It is the path of least resistance, but it is still a gauntlet of lethal, unpredictable projectiles. The hive's AI is designed to analyze this debris field in real time, charting a course through the chaos. The baptism by fire comes without warning. Drone 3, flying on the formation's western flank, transmits a split-second image of a metal object tumbling through the air, a utility pole ripped from the ground and thrown like a spear. Before the AI can execute an evasive maneuver, the pole impacts the drone. The screen for Drone 3 flashes to static. On the main display, its icon vanishes. A $2 million piece of cutting-edge technology, and the data it carried, has been obliterated in an instant. Inside the observatory, the loss is met with a moment of stunned silence. A critical part of their data-gathering network is gone. But then, something remarkable happens. On the screen, the icons for the 4 remaining drones adjust their positions seamlessly. The hive's collective AI, recognizing the loss of a node, instantly recalculates the formation. It redistributes sensor priorities and adjusts its flight path, compensating for the loss without a single command from its human operators. The mission, though wounded, continues. Eris watches, her expression a mixture of loss and awe at the resilience of her creation. The 4 surviving drones reach the inflow jet. They are no longer fighting the wind but riding it, pulled into the vortex at tremendous speed. The screens inside the observatory erupt with information, a torrent of data that has never been seen before. It is the first real-time look inside the engine of a tornado. Graphs spike wildly, displaying impossible wind speeds and a catastrophic drop in barometric pressure. The team is looking at the heart of the beast. But the interior is not a simple funnel. It is a chaotic war zone of subvortices, smaller, faster tornadoes spinning within the main circulation. These mini-vortices are unpredictable and carry the highest wind speeds, tearing the landscape apart below. The hive's mission is to navigate this minefield to reach the theorized calm at the tornado's absolute center. Drone 5 is the next to fall. It is caught between 2 converging subvortices, subjecting it to immense shear forces. The narrator explains that the drone is being pulled in 2 different directions at once by winds exceeding 300 miles per hour. The structural integrity alarm blares for a second before its signal dies. The drone has been torn to pieces. Now, only 3 drones remain. They have gathered more data in 2 minutes than in the last 50 years of storm research, but the most valuable prize, the core, is still ahead, through the most violent part of the vortex. Eris faces the mission's most critical decision. Her protocol dictates that a loss of 40% of the swarm is the threshold for an automatic abort. She has reached that point. Her team looks to her, their faces pale in the glow of the monitors. She can recall the remaining drones and save her multi-million-dollar project, preserving the groundbreaking data they already have. Or she can push forward, risking everything for the one piece of data she has sought since that day in Greensburg, a complete profile of the monster. The ghost of her mentor, David, whispers in her ear, "Get closer." "Push them through," Eris says, her voice unwavering. "Continue the mission." The command is sent. The 3 remaining drones, 1, 2, and 4, reconfigure into a tight triangular formation and accelerate deeper into the vortex. They are fighting for every inch, their AI brains processing a hurricane of environmental data to stay stable. They punch through the violent inner wall, a region of swirling debris and near-constant lightning. And then they enter a new world. The chaos suddenly subsides. The drones have reached the center of the vortex. For a breathtaking 12 seconds, they transmit clear, stable imagery from a place no human has ever seen. It is a perfectly calm, hollow cylinder, stretching nearly a mile up to the base of the storm cloud. The walls of this swirling coliseum are made of dust, debris, and water vapor, with flashes of lightning illuminating the interior like a strobe light. The team in the observatory is breathless, witnessing the birth of a new field of meteorology. They have captured the Holy Grail, proof of a stable, structured core, the engine room of the tornado. But the triumph is short-lived. On the radar, the tornado's signature begins to change. It is roping out, a term for the violent, unpredictable end stage of a tornado's life cycle. The narrator explains that as the storm loses energy, the vortex stretches and thins like a rope before collapsing in on itself. This collapse is not a gentle process. It is a convulsive final act that sends a shockwave of turbulent energy outward from the core. The hive, which was designed to survive the organized chaos of the vortex, is now directly in the path of the disorganized violence of its death. The shockwave hits the drones with the force of a bomb blast. Drone 4, the lowest in the formation, is immediately shattered. Drone 2 is thrown violently against the vortex wall and disintegrates. On the screen, 2 more icons blink out of existence. The mission is over. All that remains is the desperate hope that a single drone might survive. Thrown clear of the collapsing funnel, Drone 1 is tumbling uncontrollably through the sky. Its alarms are blaring, its structural integrity compromised. But its core programming has one final directive: return to base. Damaged but functional, it deploys its emergency parafoil and begins a slow, agonizingly tense descent. On the ground, Eris and her team race in the observatory to the drone's predicted landing site, their hearts pounding. They find it in a muddy field, a battered piece of titanium half buried in the soil. Its lights are still blinking. Eris approaches it alone, her hands shaking as she kneels and disconnects its memory core. The mission's success or failure rests in the small, hardened device in her palm. Back in the vehicle, she plugs it in. The data streams onto the screen. It is all there. The readings from the inflow, the violence of the sub-vortices, and 12 perfect seconds from the eye of the storm. They have a complete, four-dimensional model of the inside of an EF5 tornado. It is a scientific victory so profound it will be spoken of for generations, a data set that will revolutionize prediction models and save countless lives. The team erupts in cheers and tears of relief. But Eris is silent. She looks at the screen, not at the graphs, but at the icons of the 4 lost drones. Then she looks at the battered shell of the lone survivor. She has her data. She has faced the ghost of Greensburg and turned its power into knowledge. The victory is monumental, but as the adrenaline fades, she is left with the immense weight of its cost, and the quiet understanding that some forces of nature can only be survived, never truly conquered.